Hey YouTube and Instagram, I just wanted to do a quick video for you all. I just finished editing a video that I uploaded to Roho Dojo about Yari Jitsu and Hencho and Tomoe. These are some interesting concepts with the Yari, but I wanted to speak about something that I think is very important going into the new year. Hello Instagram and YouTube, Michael Glenn here. I want to start off 2018 and maybe for the whole year just being really honest. I think it's important to understand in our training that Budo and the Bujinkan comes from a pure place, and so I want to present myself this year being very straightforward, very honest. And I want to address things throughout the year in an honest way. Sometimes that may piss some people off or annoy some people, but that's going to be my approach for the year, I think. One thing I wanted to talk about is when I was in Japan last month, I was in one of Santos Sensei's classes, and Santos Sensei, if you've ever been to one of his classes, it's not uncommon for him to first of all, to have a small class. That's something that happens in his classes often. So he's used to teaching a certain way with a small group of students. Another thing that's pretty common, even if he has a big class in the Hanbu dojo, is he tends to hang out towards the entranceway of the dojo, up towards the wood paneling, the wood flooring. And he'll hang out there and observe and answer questions and even instruct. So a lot of times people will come up to him in class and ask him to try a technique on them because they want to feel it for themselves. So he'll spend a good portion of the class kind of hanging out up at the front there. The problem is when it's a very large class, that makes it hard for everyone to see what he's teaching because he's contained in the front there, and there's a big crowd and they can't get around to see him. You know, I've been training with Santos Sensei for many years like this, and I'm aware of how he teaches. And when I was there last month, I had a person come up to me afterwards and complain. And they said, you know, this is really terrible. Why does he do that? It's, you know, we pay for this class and we can't see what he's doing. And you know, they were quite upset about it, and you know, I do understand why they are upset, but I also understand that it's one of the big lessons in the Bujinkan is that we must adapt. You know, there's a phrase in Japanese that it says "Don't be KY." KY means it stands for Kukyo Yomu, and that means someone who doesn't have the ability to read the environment, read the mood, read the atmosphere, read the room. And if you're being KY, that means you're like you're not really paying attention to your surroundings or what's around you or how things are going or the flow of the class or whatever. And so if you pay attention in Japan and if you are sensitive to these things, you can often get training and get lessons that other people miss. This is just through awareness, through paying attention. And because I've been training with Seno for a long time, I know that he does this in class, so I often position myself with my uke up close to where he's teaching. And then also because he knows me and he sees me a lot, he'll make sure that to come and demonstrate things on me as well. I pay close attention to his rhythms, and there are moments where I can tell he's trying to present a certain thing, and at that moment I'll position myself close, and maybe I'll sit in seiza close to where he's standing, so that I can get a clear view of what he's teaching us. Unfortunately, when it's crowded, that means that everybody can't see, and you have to choose your moments. You have to try to pick your moments to position yourself in the crowd and see what he's doing. And this is a lesson in itself. You know, part of training is listening. A big way to learn in the dojo is to learn by listening, right? And listening is not just with your ears. Listening is being aware of the whole situation, having that kind of spatial awareness, and and situational awareness so that you can pick up the lessons as they're being offered to you. If you just go there and expect the teachers in Japan to put on a show or adapt to you as a student, well, then you're really going to miss out, because it's not their job to adapt to you. They're there teaching, and it's your job as a student to position yourself to or avail yourself of what they're offering. There's a story Hatsumi Sensei talked about a long time ago, and he said, you know, most people, they only know one way of walking, and that's walking forward for the most part. So, you know, he was joking because Japan is an island, so if you just keep walking forward, eventually you'll end up in the ocean. That's kind of a funny story. And when I was a kid, we had these toys that you would wind them up, right, and they would walk or roll along until they hit the baseboard, and then they would turn right or turn left. But that was all they did. They just went forward until they hit something, and then they would turn, and they would hit something else, and then turn again. If they kept going, eventually they might make it out the doorway, but they had to run in and crash into a lot of things before that happened, run into a lot of furniture, right? So Hatsumi Sensei told us that ninjas, we have more than one way of walking. We can walk forward, we can walk backward, we can walk sideways. In our martial art and ninjutsu, there are many ways of walking. There's roppo ashi, there's you know, there's walking sideways, diagonal, forward, backward, silently, many types of footwork that we have. And so as ninjas, we learn to walk in all directions, and this is how we find happiness. Bye. Thank you, thank you.
ツイッターやってない。ツイッター、S。マイケルツイッターやってない。
Michael?
Hi.
You know Twitter?
Twitter. Oh, okay.
Twitter.
You do?
Yeah.
You do? He wanna know.
Okay.
You're okay.
So I just wanted to come to you guys with this message for the new year, that it's important to remember what it means to be an uke. In fact, maybe I'm gonna call all of us ukes this year, myself included. So hello, my ukes. All of you are my ukes, and I'm your uke. The word, if you don't know, the word uke comes from ukeru, which means to receive. So if you're being a good student, that means you're being receptive and you're receiving what's being taught to you. It's not something where somebody owes you a teaching or somebody owes you a lesson. Just because you paid for class doesn't mean the teacher owes you anything, right? If you're being a good uke and you're receptive and receiving of the teacher's lesson, then whatever is being taught will just become part of you. It's just a natural process. Part of your growth is like absorbing, like a sponge, what is being offered. And for example, in Santos Sensei's class, there is a lot that teacher is offering. He's been around for longer than most, and he got to meet Takamatsu Sensei. He started training with Hatsumi Sensei when he was a teenager. So if you're not receptive to what he's offering, you're gonna miss it.
1年間皆さんお疲れ様でした。来年も頑張りましょう。お疲れ様でした。乾杯。 いただきました。